Thank you again for joining the April 2022 PIHRA orientation. So happy to have you all. Um, we are recording this. I will send you these slides pretty much right after the webinar. So if you want to take notes on things that are discussed today, feel free to take notes on anything that we discussed that are outside of what's on the PowerPoint. Um, I think you could hear me and you could see my slides pretty well. So if you want to just give me a little bit reinforcement in the chat, that would be great. Just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Um, let's see what else. We're going to spend the next 60 minutes together. One of the next slides. Oh, great. Thank you, Carolyn. You can hear me. We're going to spend the next 60 minutes together talking about PIHRA and also answering your questions, because this orientation is about you. What are the questions you have about your PIHRA membership? Or how about if you just signed up for the All Access Pass or you're considering membership? What are the questions you have so that we can get you over the fence to join this community as a member? Let's see what else. We have slides. Afterwards, if there are questions that I can't answer, I'd love for you to interact. Feel free to interact in the chat. We don't have a lot of people on the webinar today, so there's going to be times where I'll ask you to unmute to ask your question live, and I will be able to answer them. If I can't answer your question live, then I'll definitely follow up. If it's really something specific for you, I may ask that we set up some time separately so that we can have a separate conversation. But please interact. I like to make this engaging and fun. I'm not extremely formal. Because I feel like that's our community. We have all kinds of different people in our community. And so I just like to be authentic and I like to have fun with this. So let's get started. And thank you all who have joined. And feel free to, you don't have to, but we'd love to see your face. And yeah, let me know if you want to unmute or put any questions in the chat. Also, feel free to start networking because that's what PIHRA is all about. It's all about networking. So I'm going to put my LinkedIn in the chat. Feel free to connect with me. And yeah, let's take it from there. Let's see, what do we have on the agenda today? Well, I'm in the welcome and general update portion. Hi, Christina. Thank you for putting a video on. So I'll give you a general update. I started the general update once the pandemic started because, we had gone virtual. Some of our chapters weren't meeting, some were. So we'll do a little bit of that. I'm also going to do a poll because, like I said previously, this is about you. I want you to walk away from this webinar saying my questions were answered, or I got more information. I have my next step. So definitely participate in the poll. If it's a multiple choice. So if there's something that you want to walk away from and it's not in the poll, just put it in the chat. That's fine. Then I'm going to introduce myself a little bit more and members of my team and my special guest who's here. Thanks, Garren, for being on video. Garren Cabral is the vice chair of PIHRA West Los Angeles, so he's my guest and able to answer questions for you as well. We'll go through a PIHRA overview, just talking a little bit about the organization as a whole, member benefits, and then the learning and networking opportunities at PIHRA, and then we'll just wrap it up. I hope that sounds like a plan. Oh, great. Thank you for sharing your LinkedIns. Perfect. All right. Again, don't be shy. Put something in the chat. Raise your virtual hand. I should be able to see it. Okay. Let's see. I'm really excited. Given I know the pandemic, you want to forget about the pandemic. Unfortunately, we're still kind of seeing the consequences of the pandemic. But one of the really great consequences is that we went virtual. So I think this month we're doing more than 4 free webinars for members. So all of the webinars and the virtual learning opportunities that we do at the chapter level and at the monthly level are free for members. I say at the chapter level and the monthly level because we do have the conference that's available virtually, and that isn't free. The conferences are a little different, but we have some great, even just today at 11, we had one of our great attorneys, Eric DeWams, do a presentation on that new Workplace Violence Act. So if you missed that, I think we have a couple in-person ones coming up as well. But that's a great benefit. Now, all of the chapters are meeting. Some chapters are meeting more than others, and Garren could talk to you about what PIHRA West Los Angeles has going on. But it's also a great byproduct of the pandemic, and sorry, I'll be pausing just to check the chat from time to time. But the other great byproduct is that we started realizing that the traditional monthly meetings that the chapters were doing, so a lot of chapters were just meeting every month at the same time, the same day of the week. So the 7:30 a.m. Breakfast meetings, and they were doing that month after month. And we're not capturing everybody because everyone has a different schedule. So while we did have some chapters that were meeting for lunch, what's going on now is that they're changing it up. So a great example is North OC. And Garren, you probably have some examples, but PIHRA and North OC, they meet out of Anaheim. They'll do 1 month, they'll do a traditional morning meeting. The next month, they'll do a lunch workshop style meeting. And then the third month, they'll do a social. So I think that I'm just letting people in. There's still people coming. Awesome. Um, so that really helps people with different commitments and time frame availabilities to engage in the community. So we have a lot going on this month. In May, we have the conference. So we have not as many things going on because we're all going to be at the conference on May. And I have a slide on that, so we could talk about that. But I want to emphasize here to check the PIHRA calendar often. It's pihra.org/calendar. We're always adding webinars, different events, our chapter events, and just want to encourage you to go there. I don't see any questions. Thank you for everyone who just joined. Just a reminder of housekeeping, we are recording this. We put all the recordings on YouTube. So we have some previous recordings on YouTube. The slides will go out to you along with some URLs of additional information that we've gotten asked for in the past. Okay, so you guys ready for the poll? I'm going to launch this poll. Definitely want to hear from all of you. What do you want to walk away from this webinar with? So give me a thumbs up if you see the poll. All right. Yeah, so what do you want to walk away from? Do you want to know more about the chapters? Do you want to know more about our relationship with SHRM? You know, how to volunteer, conferences, HR certification, or if there's something else you want to dig deeper in? Okay, we got 5 people that participated so far. Let's see if we can get at least 90, 100% participation. Okay. Okay, more info about conferences and seminars. Then we got chapters and HR certification is up there. Okay, anyone else? Last 15 seconds. Again, want to make sure I cover the things. I have a lot to cover and I talk a lot. So want to make sure I focus in on the things you want to walk away with. Okay, we've been stuck at 11 people participating and monthly meetings. Okay, I'm going to end the poll so you could see. Oh, we have 12 people. All right. HR certification. Okay, great. I'm sharing the results. So this is all what you guys responded and ladies, you responded in terms of walking away from this webinar with. So I'm going to stop sharing and let's get going. Hopefully I'm stopped sharing. Someone's just coming in. Okay, yeah, keep Keep networking. I'm so glad you're networking. All right. So let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm here in the middle. My name is Liliana Arguello. Everyone calls me Lily. I was actually a PIHRA member before I ever dreamed of becoming staff. So I am a staff person um, for PIHRA. Our offices were in Gardena pre-pandemic. Now we're totally remote. Um, and let's see, a little bit about me. I came to PIHRA from the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles. I was um, expanding membership in the lower income Spanish speaking quartiles of Los Angeles. And I love that because the Girl Scouts is the biggest leadership program for women in the world, basically. But before then, I started my career in organizational development, doing organizational assessments, strategic planning, management training, leadership training, and things of that. So corporate culture studies, structure studies, things like that. So for me, PIHRA, my work at PIHRA is a great marriage of my organizational development, kind of HR development skills, and my work at the Girl Scouts of Greater Los Angeles in membership. So and just so you know, I got my job through LinkedIn and the volunteer work that I was doing. That's how, and I'll introduce you to my supervisor, our CEO, Rafael Rivera. He was also working in an association, I think it was a Hispanic Association for Engineers. Don't quote me. I don't think that's the correct language for that association, but he was working there. He knew somebody that I was working with on the National Association of Women MBAs, and we connected that way. So just a little pitch to have your LinkedIn profile nicely set up, describing who you are and your accomplishments well, because I think that's where people are going. And also for volunteerism. And I'll tell you a little bit more about volunteerism in a bit. Elisette Sapian is on my right, and she's on maternity leave, so she's not with us today, but she's my right hand. Carolyn Breckland, who you might see here, is currently my right hand. And so if you call the main line, Carolyn might answer, or you'll likely get me. So please feel free to reach out. The last thing I want is that you sit there like, what's going on with this membership? I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm really frustrated. I can't get onto this. I can't get onto that. Email me or call me. I'm great with email, so I will respond. My commitment to you all is I respond within 24 hours. Usually I respond even quicker. So we're here for you. We want you to get the most out of your PIHRA membership. And really, my goal is not to sell you a membership. My goal, and I think this stems back from my organizational development days. I want you to be successful in your career and have access to the community that you need to get where you need to go. Okay, so that's who I am and a little bit of PIHRA. On my left is Matt Pallett. He is my liaison with the board. So PIHRA is primarily volunteer led, and I can explain that a little bit more. But so what that means is Matt is the chair of the membership committee on the PIHRA board. So PIHRA has a large board that governs the entire association, and it also has underneath that 18 chapters, and each chapter has its own board. So this is a fantastic place to build your leadership skills and hone those skills. And I think if you have a great manager at work, they're going to look at that and say, oh, he or she is developing as a leader. This is someone I'm going to look out for. I know that my previous supervisors were looking out for me and my personal investment in my own leadership. So this is a great place to do that. I'm sure Garren will be able to talk about that a little bit more. So now, Garren, hi. Would you like to unmute yourself and introduce yourself a bit?
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Garren. So I am the vice chair of the West LA chapter. Does anyone live or work in the West LA area? Interest in the West LA chapter?
Yeah, feel free to unmute or raise your hand.
Well, if you are, we have the funner events, so you may want to try from time to time, even though I believe Burbank claims that they are funner than us, but I would beg to differ. So I guess I'll start with what I do and then like how I got involved with PIHRA. So I am essentially, that's a fancy title, but I'm essentially a headhunter. I specialize in accounting and finance placement, but I actually have my master's is in human resources from the Ohio State University. When I moved to LA, since I can't speak Spanish and didn't know California labor law because it is insane compared to the other 49 states and the US, I got into corporate recruiting and then transitioned into headhunting. So when I started to really get into what I wanted to do, my boss actually suggested, well, hey, since you have a master's, you are in HR, you should go, kind of like maintain that connection. So I my very first event was in the end of 2017, and it was in Century City because I went to the West LA ones, and it was like a beer and color um
I was there. That's when I
event.
first met you.
How you can use color to make yourself more presentable, and there was beer on tap. So I was like, oh, this is fun. So I joined the West LA chapter, and then I've been on the board since February 2019. So when I joined the board, I was the hospitality chair. I realized after we had our leadership training earlier this year that other chapters hospitality chairs do it differently, but at least at the West LA chapter, I just put on all the fun events. So anytime we would have a social at a bar or anything that was like non uh, CPE event oriented, that's what I would do. And then when our vice chair stepped down because they lived in Whittier, not really sure why they were coming to the West LA chapter, I decided to step into that role. And so I've been a member for quite some time. Um, so yeah, I've got involved in different ways. It's been really cool because in addition to meeting different people, I feel like our board is really close. So it's like I have kind of like two pockets of communities whenever I go to events. I tend to stay in the West LA area, but in the past I have gone to other chapters. So for those of you who are um like, oh, I don't know where to go. You can go to like, I don't know how often that's advertised, but like you could have a home base, but you could like go to any like chapters events. So I used to go to downtown, and some South Bay events. I know that we're looking once I get on it, to have like a mega mixer of the South Bay, West LA, um, and the Long Beach, wait, West LA, South Bay, Long Beach. I know we all want to get together and have like a social in the summer. And I feel like I'm going to have to plan that since, I used to be the hospitality chair, but it's been a really good time of networking and like you said, Lily, using your um leadership skills. I have a couple of other things I do outside of work because I kind of feel like I should do something professionally, something that's service oriented and something that is for me. But when I was really thinking about it, I was like, Pyra can kind of encompass all of those things, the social, the professional, depending on the different type of event, it could be something that's community oriented and then something that's just fun for you as well. So that's
I
kind of,
love that you bring that up, Karen,
yeah.
Garren, because it's almost like that holistic person.
Yeah.
One of the things that you want to keep doing for yourself outside of work is something that is professional. So learning, education, networking, and then something that kind of fills your soul, right? And
Yeah.
I know you do some meditation stuff and some other fun things as well. Um, but if anyone has any questions about Pyro West Los Angeles, I grew up in West LA and I went to UCLA, so I'm always actually my boss even says, "Why are you going to all the Pirate West LA events. You need to kind of spread yourself around. Oh, hi, Erica. I see your question. I work in UC Irvine. I'm zooming in from the office today. Well, thank you. Yeah, we do. And we're going to so let's keep going, Garren, because I want you to keep chiming in.
Yeah.
We're gonna get to a map of all of our chapters. So we do have a chapter in South OC, Erica, and in North Orange County. They meet out of Anaheim. So let's get going. Um, yeah,
And I would also say that like some people base their membership based on where they work, and then some people base it on where they live. So our former chair lived in Pasadena, but he worked in West LA. So that's why he was involved with West LA. He did his time and now does other things. But you can do it based off that as well. So you may live in Burbank, but you work in downtown LA. So there's two chapters at both places. So you can kind of like hop around based on when you plan on um going to an event, because like a morning networking event, let's say we normally have ours at 7:30 in Santa Monica. If you live in Santa Monica but work far further, that might be better for you. And then um going to a different one at night when you're back home. So you can kind of plan it based on your travel and how much you go to work.
great point. And just so that you all know, when you become a member, you select your preferred chapter. That'll be kind of your home chapter, which could be, like Garren said, the chapter near your work or the chapter closer to your home. But you could attend any chapter event at the price if you are a member. So, and you know what? If you're not a member right now and you want to just go to a couple of chapters, because every chapter, like Garren was saying, PIHRA, Burbank, Glendale, they call themselves a fun chapter. PIHRA West LA also is a fun chapter. I call them the party chapter because we have a really fun time. I love going to we go to the pier. What else have we done? We've done a lot of different things, but I'll show you the map in a moment. This is our mission. I'm not going to read it to you, but we exist for HR professionals in California. So whether you're a seasoned professional or an early entrant into the profession, or you're a student interested. We have a student here. Caroline's a student at UCLA. She's interested in HR. We have student members and student chapters. So this is a great place to just get the education you need, get the information you need to be successful. Here's some key players. I'm going to try to skip out and get to the conference and HR certification stuff and the chapter stuff quickly. But here's another example of a volunteer leader. Tara Fournier is the president of our board. So she manages the association board. She has a great background. You'll see her at our conferences and things like that. She's HR certified. So I see there's some questions about HR certification. I'm SHRM certified. I could talk to you about that forever. So if you have any specific questions about HR certification, let me know in the chat. And then this is Rafael Rivera. I told you about him a little earlier. He's the one that brought me in. I really credit him for, you know, he started, gosh, it's been 10 years, a couple of years before I started in 2014. And I credit him for rebranding PIHRA, rebranding the conference. It used to be called the PIHRA Annual Conference. Now it's the California HR Conference. And also for getting us through the pandemic. That was scary for us. And it continues to be scary as we rebuild. But he's my direct supervisor. And it's because of him that I love working for PIHRA. I hope you all have a job that you love your supervisor, you are able to speak to him, and that there's some flexibility in your workplace, because that's like key right now for everybody. And especially, I'm a working mom, so really appreciate my time here. A little bit about, who PIHRA members are. Right around 44% of our members are at the HR manager generalist level. So that's kind of our sweet spot. And a lot of our HR education is geared toward that persona. We do a lot of California law stuff. So like Garren was saying, I am not, I wasn't adept at the California law. It is special. We're special here in California. I don't live it day to day, so it's hard for me to absorb it all. But if you have that skill or want to develop that skill, it is very marketable here in California. If anyone has questions about the PHR California, which shows mastery in California law, let me know. I highly suggest if you're looking at HR certification that you look into that one or the SHRM certifications. Sorry, I'm SHRM certified. I got to tell you that. Service providers, let me point them out. Right around 17% of our members are service providers, and those are those natural partners to HR professionals like Garren. He's a headhunter. He'll help you find that person you haven't been able to find for months to fill one of your roles. Or if you're looking for a role, he's a good person. Although you're in the finance and accounting area, but you have those
Um,
connections, right, Garren?
I have a colleague that does HR, so we work together a lot since I go to these events.
Yeah. So don't be scared of them. A lot of them, like Garren, they're not here to sell you. I've been with Garren at many, many chapter meetings. I never see him saying, hey, I'm with whatever kind of company. I want to, can I send you a contract or a proposal? That's not what they're here for. If someone does that to you, please let me know because we frown upon that. What these folks are here, and there's insurance brokers, there's 501k, 501k, 401k folks, you know what I'm talking about. They're here to build relationships. And what I really like about working with them is that it's their job to connect with HR. So if you go to a meeting, they're likely to be the one that says, hey, I heard about an HR director job in downtown LA. And if anyone's interested, let me know. And they can make that a real direct connection for you. So don't be fearful of them. They're fantastic. They sponsor events. And so just want to let you know about that. 40% of our membership population is HR certified. It's really important to our community, and I don't think it's an end all to your career, but it definitely differentiates you. I know I got a salary hike when I got my SHRM SCP. It is not an easy exam, but it's worth it. It's worth it. So we'll get to that. If you have any specific questions about that, let me know. Let's see, top industries. I think the top industry represented by our members is manufacturing. Then we have consulting, and then the nonprofit. We also have a lot of folks in the healthcare and education industry. I'm not going to go through and read all the rest. Right now, we have right around, I think we just increased our membership. We are at 3,500, a little bit over 3,500. That's been kind of up and down since the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, we had 4,500 members. So you could see yeah, we did get impacted, but we're on the rise again. And let's keep moving. I want to get to the chapter piece. Oh, here we are. Okay, so hopefully you could see this map. Here's all of our chapters. If anyone has a specific question about a chapter, let me know. But what I will say is all our chapters are different. They have different boards, and the boards are quite autonomous. Our largest chapter is South OC. Pre-pandemic, they had over 700 members. Right now, they have 450 members. They're meeting out of actually Costa Mesa. They just changed. Is someone unmuted? Do you have a question? I welcome that. Anyway, that's our largest chapter. They meet out of Costa Mesa. North OC, they meet out of Anaheim Hills, I believe. Our second large, and so North OC is our third largest chapter. Our second largest chapter is downtown Los Angeles. So it's the Los Angeles chapter. That was actually our first chapter ever. Next year, we're going to be 80 years old. Can you believe that, Garren? That's a long time. I believe it was at the end of 1944. We were established by a group of industrial relations managers or personnel managers, as they were called back then. And they got together saying, what's the future of this profession? What sort of certifications do we need? What sort of education do we need? How do we foster growth and people interest in the profession? And they first met in downtown LA. So we'll start our 80th anniversary campaign later in the year. Let's see. What to expect? Garren, you want to talk about what to expect at a PIHRA meeting?
Yeah, it differs between the type of meetings. I can only speak for West LA. So we normally tend to have What kind of differs? We normally tend to have a morning meeting at 7:30 for the early risers. Those are always educational. So the one that we're having that's coming up um next, I want to say it's on April 25th at this little coffee shop hall called Papa.
Gustil.
We
That
call it
is,
something else, but I posted
yeah.
it on my LinkedIn. So if you want to see the information there, but it's about the new SB law around workplace violence prevention training. So I think our board does a really good job because we're half HR practitioners and half HR vendors. So there's a lot of people who do work in HR who is like, hey, this is what we need to learn. So breakfast meetings are normally always educational, and then we'll have socials as well that are meant to be more social, but sometimes they are. Um, we do offer like someone to come in so you can get CPE credit as well. The last one we had was St. Patrick's Day themed. We had a really fun holiday party. Um, not doing anything next month because of car, and I won't be there because I'll be in Greece. And then in June, I think we're doing something because I think June is Employee Appreciation Month. There's like a month or a week for everything. So I think we're gonna have an event around that. But that's how we tend to do them. They're normally either educational, fun, or both.
Yeah, yeah. And so just to be precise, there is a cost to these because there's usually a meal component. And I don't know the name, Papa Gustos or Papa Gustil. It's right on Main Street in Santa Monica. It's really delicious, by the way. So, but there is a meal component. If you go to one of these events, typically what's going to happen is you're going to register, there'll be some networking going on, then there'll be a meal as well, and then you'll get an hour to an hour and 15 minutes of professional development where they will offer recertification credits toward your HRCI certification or your SHRM certification. And then some are just purely
More
social.
like bites, appetizers. Like it's not like a four course, like you don't skip breakfast. Or it might be like a light breakfast. And then
Hmm.
the evening will normally like those will normally be like at a bar. So we'll like here's some drink tickets, and then we'll have like kind of like bar-ish food. But I at our holiday party, we did actually have like a meal. But like I want people to think like, oh, I'm skip breakfast, or I don't need to eat dinner going to a PIHRA meeting because it's not that
Yeah.
full.
At the end of the presentation, I have a long list of meetings coming up in April, and I want to challenge you all. Get out there. I know for me, I have social anxiety. Once I'm out, I'm good. I'm talking to everybody, and especially in PIHRA, because it's kind of part of my job. Um, but what the pandemic showed me is that I tend to isolate. And that is the worst thing for several reasons. One, it's not good for your mental health. Two, you want to be out there in your professional community because you never know when you're going to need that friend. You're going to need to call someone saying, "Oh my gosh, this is happening in the HR department. Have you experienced this before?" Sometimes HR can be very lonely, even if you have a department team around you. So find your people outside of your organization. You might just find your best friend. I've had members say, "I met my best friend at a Pyro Long Beach meeting." So get out there. I challenge you, at least go to 2 meetings this year. If you're on the All Access Pass, you get the member rate right now. At least do a webinar. So please go. If you have any specific questions that we didn't cover about chapter meetings or any of our chapters, just let me know. I'd be delighted to answer that. Okay. I'm going to keep going, but feel free
I
to ask any
will
questions.
also tack on just from my professional experience as a recruiter. It it's always good to be ahead of the curve, especially since I keep noticing layoffs here, and especially if you're not a generalist, a lot of times those tend to be the positions that get cut, especially talent acquisition wise. So it's always good to have a large network so you can be ahead of the curve, or if you're caught up in something like that, you can use your network to try and secure your next role.
Absolutely. I had a thought and then I lost it about that, but please get out there. It's just really important to do that. I'll think of what I was thinking about later. Okay, I apologize. There's also some specialty groups that you can get involved in. We have a government advocacy team. So if you're interested in advocating for employee rights or your organization's concerns, that is a great group. They meet quarterly and they usually have an elected on. We also have the PIHRA Foundation. They have been a little bit, they're in a kind of leadership transition, but in the past, they've raised monies for scholarships. So up until last year, they do 2 scholarship windows typically. I think this year they might do 1 scholarship window. Their last scholarship window was at the end of 2023. So I've been asking them what their plans are, but they do scholarships for people getting their HR degree or their HR certification. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know and I'll send you some more information. I also mentioned earlier that we have student chapters. So Caroline here, hi Caroline. She's the president of the UCLA, actually the SHRM and PIHRA at UCLA chapter. It's my alma mater, so yeah, tell me that I'm biased. That's fine. But Caroline's great. And we have a group that works just with college students, helping them get the connections they need, connecting them with possible internships, or I know UCLA did a mentor program. Some of our chapters are doing mentor programs. So that's also a great, and they have their own boards. So here's a little bit more about the government advocacy team. If you're interested, these QR codes should work to get you involved with that team. I know that they're doing a kind of connect with your representative campaign. So that's that second QR code. But they meet all the time. If you want me to send a personal connection for you to them, they're a great group. And I think a lot of people, it's sticky because if people are civic minded or very interested in legislative affairs, this is a great group for you. All right. I don't see anything in the chat, so I'm going to keep going. You sure no questions? All right. I got 20 more minutes, so let's do it. PIHRA benefits. These are the most popular benefits. Something that is I want to highlight. We have and it's going to be on the next slides. We have an agreement with Mineral, formerly Think HR, and they have our members can sign on to Mineral through a API system. So you just sign into your PIHRA account, then you kind of go to a different page and you click. So it's a little cumbersome, but when you get on this platform, there's everything. There's a smart employee handbook builder. There's a job description builder. There's a salary comparison tool. You can also call the HR advisory line, which is going to be on the next slide. If you have a question that you just want to get a quick kind of either a second opinion or someone to lead you to some documentation that you need. But this is where you're going to find the latest policies to insert in your employee handbook or maybe send out and get employees to sign. So this is a fantastic tool. If you were to pay for it on your own, it's at least $1,200. And they also include, you know what, let me wait to tell you this last part, but some of the other benefits is the HR education. I think we offer some of the most impactful HR education at the most affordable prices. So, and we have all of our chapters are doing a monthly. So wait till you see the last slide. There's so much going on this month, which is a little different. It's going to look a little different next month, but then June will start all over again. Like Garren was saying, they're planning their June event. And, I emphasize this a lot. The building relationships and that community building, I mean, please, you might have your college community. That's a great community to be a part of. But, Garren, do you want to talk a little bit about, I think you mentioned it, but, the community you've built at PIHRA West LA is super special. How has that added to your life? You're on mute.
Yeah, so I think I said earlier how I have a focus in what I do. I remember there was this one guy who he really wanted to get into HR, but he was a lawyer. And he didn't even do employment law. So I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. It didn't, but he came to a lot of PIHRA events, and one of my colleagues, the colleague who does like our HR and admin, um, she was like, do you happen to know anyone like this? And so I had connected them, and then he ended up finally getting a job after like over a year of trying to get into HR. He was like, maybe I'll try this later, but like he was really like adamant about like trying to network. And so even though it really wasn't something I did, I somehow put things together, and then he got off unemployment. So that was great. Um, and then I mean, even with some of the people, especially like on my board, like I've gone just to like happy hour with them, like on a Friday, or we'll meet outside of our regular cadence just to like catch up with each other. And it's really cool because like when you start going to events on a uh frequent basis, you will see other people, and it's kind of like, oh, hey, Sarah, it's good seeing you. Like, it's almost like seeing like that coworker that you used to work with at your last job that you don't see as often, but like you see them from time to time. So it's like, oh yeah, I see Sarah all the time. I don't work with her. We don't like meet all the time, but when she's at this event, it's like a familiar face. So it's just really nice to have that. And like for me personally, even though I don't really work in HR, I think it's always good to have a place to complain when especially if you because sometimes you can't complain about your work at your actual job, so it's always good to have like that network of like, hey, like this is annoying me at my place, to another HR professional who gets it, because I'm sure we all have people. I call my mom and she's like, what do you do? So having people who know what you do and understand the frustrations that you may have or pain points you may have at your job.
Thank you so much. And yeah, it's so fulfilling to connect other people and making lifelong friends here. So thank you for adding that. What I wanted to add here through the mineral workplace, we call it the PIHRA workplace sometimes, you also get this enterprise learning system. And there's more than 150 to 200 core courses that you get with your membership. And so you can administer these to your employees. If you want to administer an online mandatory sexual harassment training. I think there's also some mandatory OSHA training. If you're in that industry, you just purchase those. It's an add-on, but you get it at a pretty discounted price. So if you're a small organization and need to do some training, or I think you can impress your CEO or your director by being able to offer this. Actually, tomorrow at noon, we're having a demo of Mineral, specifically about the Smart HR Handbook Builder. So I encourage you to look at the calendar for that. Now let's keep going. If you're not signed up for the All Access Pass, do it right now. It's no obligations after the 30 days, but it's absolutely free for 30 days. You can sign up for some webinars, sign up for some chapter meetings, but you cannot sign up for the conference, which is coming up at the member rate. You would have to become a full member. But after the 30 days, if you want to become a full member, you would just renew for 150, which is a $25 discount from the usual 175. So let me know if you have any questions about that. If you have a team of more than 2 or 3 and you want to purchase a corporate type membership, we have these memberships in various tiers, from a small organization to a very large organization, and it gives you some concierge service type of benefits. Plus, there's some discounts there. If that's something of interest, or you want to bring it up to your VP, that's a great option. Um, if you haven't noticed, I encourage you to volunteer. I think it can help you take you to the next level. Yes, it's an investment, um, but it's a great way to make those lifelong connections that you may need. You never know. And it takes you on a great adventure. So there's a lot of ways to volunteer. Right now, we do have the conference coming up in May. That volunteer application has closed, but keep it in mind for next year. Our conference will be in May next year, and that's the biggest one that we have. We usually need around 80 to 100 volunteers, so that's a great micro volunteering opportunity. But the chapters also have them. So if you want me to make any introductions for you at the chapter level to see if they have a small committee role or something like that, it's a great way to get involved and really get engaged. Okay. A lot of you had questions about conference and certification. So that's what we're getting at. We have a lot of different types of HR education. We've talked about them. Go to the calendar. I'll reinforce that. Members do get at least $10 off all of our chapter meetings. So non-members pay more. So say you're a non-member and you just want to check it out, not a big deal. You know, you're just you're going to spend a little bit more. So over time, you'll probably want to become a member if you're going to attend more than 4 or 5 meetings per year, which I definitely suggest so you can get to know our community. You also get discounted rates at the conference and the California Employment Law update, which is usually in October now, right after the governor signed all the laws in, and some other PIHRA events, which I'm going to talk to you about and have a list of. Okay, certification. How much time? I have less than 15 minutes. What specific questions do you have about certification? I'd be happy to answer them. We are not the certification agency. We do prep courses. So remember when you had to take, or maybe you didn't have to take the SAT or the ACT, and you took a prep class for that, or I know I took a prep class for the GMAT, which I thought was going to kill me. That's what we do. It's the prep courses. I think we have the best SHRM and HRCI prep instructor in the US, frankly, but definitely on the West Coast. His name is Richard Dawson. I took his class, but I'll tell you this, taking the prep classes is not enough. If you're not a great test taker, some of you are, you could do, study on your own for 3 months, pass the test, no problem. That's not me. I studied for more than 150 hours. I took the class. I took 2 classes because I got a scholarship. I think Bamboo HR was doing another prep course. And then I set up, I think I had 2 to 3 different study groups. And I read every inch of the materials. I did the SHRM SCP. So highly recommend it. It's good for you. It'll exercise that muscle. I had been out of school for a while. I think my MBA did help me. So yeah, that's the deal with certification. You can go to this URL to find out what classes we have coming up. Any questions about that? All right, I'm going to move on. I hope you're getting a lot out of this. I'm not hearing a lot from you all, unless you're talking to each other. Maybe that's what's going on. All right. Now, you might have all been waiting to hear about the conference on May 20th through the 22nd. We're going to be at the Hilton Anaheim for our annual conference. This is going to be a little bit of scaled down version because we're still trying to pick up our in-person and, SHRM, we are affiliated with SHRM. We're actually the largest SHRM affiliate in the country. I actually think in the United States, but I just don't have data on their affiliate in China or India. So don't think they're as big as us, but maybe. What are your questions about the conference? I know it's a highlight of my year, and I'm standing up for 12 to 15 hours each day, and I'd love to see you all there. Let's see, what can I tell you? Um, I'm not seeing any.
I had fun at it last year, and if your job is cheap and won't pay for you to go, that's where you can volunteer. And
Oh, wait. I now remembered what I was going to say,
um,
Garren. You know
they
what? Wait a second. I want to encourage you all go to these events, meet different people, because like Garren said, if your supervisor and your organization does not provide you with a training budget, you need to start looking for an organization that does. And we're all really focused on purpose, but we have to also work for organizations and people who care about our own development. So that's what I wanted to say earlier. And so thank you for saying that, Garren. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was like, I don't want to lose it again.
Yeah, I was just saying like I had a really good time. I had a lot of cool people. There were what was that band that played? The I Can Make Your Hands Clap.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm blanking out on their
I
name.
like they had a few bops, but like not super popular, but it was fun. Um and um yeah, I am going to Greece, so that will be funner. But I am sad that I am missing it this year. So please go for it.
Yeah, it was Fits in the Tantrums.
Yes,
Um,
there you
it,
go.
that was pretty good, but we're going to be a lot more low key. Let's see, there was a question in the chat. Let me go back to it. Are there different workshops happening at the same time? Yes. So there's going to be over the 2 days. So Monday, we're having a reception. It's more like people checking into their hotel. It's mostly a commuter conference, but there are people that fly in from Northern California. So on Monday, the 20th, people will fly in, check in. Our exhibitors will come in, and we have a reception that evening. On Tuesday and Wednesday, we have over the span of those 2 days, 28 sessions happening. So I don't remember how many sessions per time slot, but I think there's 3 to 4 sessions per time slot. So hopefully, Wendelin, that answers that question. Um, so will they provide us with the ones that we were not able to? Yes. So if you registered for the entire experience, so the 2 days, you will get all of the sessions recorded in an on-demand product that will likely be available within 2 weeks after the conference. So hopefully that answers that question. So um, live, you'll be able to earn 14 certification credits, but with the on-demand product, you'll be able to earn up to 28. Great. I'm glad we were able to answer that question. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. We're not having, anyone like fit to we were looking last year, we even thought of bringing in Snoop Dogg, and then I'm like, maybe we shouldn't do that. Um, but this year it's going to be more low key, a local band, maybe a trio. We'll be doing some meet to eats and a lot of socials. So we do have a good time, but there's also learning opportunities. I know some of our members have have met people there and then found work through those contacts. So if you are looking for another organization, it's all about the network. But just remember, the Bureau of Labor, there's statistics out from them that say between 70 to 80% of the people who find jobs find it through their network. So don't stop. I remember hearing that as a college student, and I was like, yeah, whatever. I just got lucky that, a friend would lead me to a job or a previous employer would lead me to a job, but that doesn't always happen. So please get out there. How many times have I said that? I think I've said that I'm going to count the number of times I'm saying that, but it is important. Okay, there's a lot. This is what's going on this month. There's a lot
One
going
thing I
on.
wanted to add to that, Lily, is from my experience, like not every job is always posted. Sometimes they are not. So, and sometimes your network may know of something that you may not find on a job board or their career site.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I had to scrunch this in. It might be hard to see, but it gives you a sense of all that we have going on. Just yesterday, there was 2 meetings and a webinar. Today there was 2 webinars, so you missed those if you didn't sign up for them. Let's see. Tomorrow, PIHRA Riverside's having a meeting. That's an in-person meeting, so anyone in Riverside. I think there was someone in Orange County. April 23rd, my PIHRA North OC is having a think tank. This is kind of new. It might be a lunch meeting, so check that out. Let's see. I know on April, I'm having trouble. Blah, blah, blah. Um, we have some free events too. Like we do have an academic partnership with Pepperdine. My graduate degree is from Pepperdine. You get a scholarship. if you are a PIHRA member. So it's like a 15 to 20% savings on some HR degree programs. Actually, I think they just opened up to all programs, and your spouse is also eligible for that. So if you want to check that out and learn more about that, that is on April 17th. I'm doing a real fantastic chat. There's so much going on. Set a goal for yourself. At least sign up for one of these. What's the one I was doing? Oh, this is a really good one. It's free for all, I believe. On April 18th, I'm doing an interactive chat with Jane Garza. She's a fantastic up and comer in the HR organizational development area. And she's going to be talking about spotting trends in your HR data and influencing decisions. At the executive level through that data. She's really good, and that's going to be really good, and it's free. What else should I tell? Oh, here's PIHRA West LA. If you're in Santa Monica, do you remember when that violence prevention law? I think that kicks in on July 1st. So you need to be prepared for that.
And our I think every chapter has like an employment lawyer who's an advisor. And so our legal person is running that event. So
Oh yeah, Aaliyah, I'm mispronouncing her name, but yeah, she's great too.
yeah.
She works with Glenn Kramer, who's one of our famous HR attorneys. By the way, if you don't have an HR attorney friend, get one. Get one quick, because in California, you need to be able to, hey, 15 minutes free, please, or, meet them at our the conferences. I highly recommend that. Someone asked about North County, San Diego. Since the pandemic, we haven't been able to re-engage that community. So I think we want to do something at the end of the year with them. I'm sorry, who asked? Christina. Yeah, so I just want to apologize. I don't and I don't have anything on the calendar in North San Diego, so the closest for you would be South OC. And let's see, do they have anything going on? I know they have all kinds of events going on during the conference. They have the big mixer going on the Monday night or Tuesday night. So sorry, nothing in San Diego right now. Um, I'm going to try to go to the Long Beach pickleball. I've been trying to go to this pickleball thing for a while. I just got kind of busy, but that's free for members, April 26th. That's a really fun group as well. Maybe that's going to be our pickleball group or pickleball chapter. But yeah, any questions? We're in the last 3 minutes. Really appreciate all of you. Is there anything that I didn't answer you're hoping that I answered? Raise your hand if you're going to sign up or if you've already signed up for a webinar or something. No? All right, Erica. Great. Anybody else? Anyone else want to unmute and say hello? Oh yeah, Jimena. So I'm if you can unmute, that would be great. What I'm understanding is that you registered for the California HR conference, but you're not seeing it in your PIHRA profile. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, so we do the conference registration through a separate system, but I'd be happy to send you the confirmation. You should have received a confirmation. Did you
Mhm.
get that?
I think I did. Yeah. I was just wanting to make sure I have it on my profile, but if it's not there, it makes sense then.
Yeah, no, it's through a separate system. And just so you know, you should be hearing more about access to the online platform and things of that sort around
Okay.
a week or two before the event.
Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Any questions about the event now that I have you? Okay.
No, sorry.
All right. Sorry to put you on the spot. Anyway, keep connected. Please connect with each other. Go to our company LinkedIn page. We're really active on LinkedIn. Also, we have a new marketing team. They're very active on Instagram now, too. There's the two. We have some activity on Facebook as well. Not so on Twitter a little bit. Our forums aren't as active. I really wanted to get more active in that, and I'm just I honestly I need more budget to make those work a little better. But in the future, hopefully. If you need me to connect you with anybody, please reach out. Don't hesitate. I'm here for that. Um, Garren, any final words before we adjourn? Did I lose you, Garren?
I'm here.
I am going to sign off unless anyone has any final questions.
Hope to see you at the West LA chapter. Feel free to say hi or just come up to me. I will probably be wearing a turban because my hair is normally looking crazy. If you come to one of our events.
Yes, PIHRA West LA is the fun party chapter. And if you want me to introduce you to anybody because you feel like, oh, I don't want to go, I don't know anybody, email me. Either I will meet you there or I'll connect you with a volunteer leader. So thank you for being a PIHRA member. If you're not, thank you for joining today. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will send these slides out to you later today. Have a great rest of your week. It's almost Friday, and hopefully I'll see you at the conference. Thanks all. Thank you so much, Garren.
No problem.
Hopefully that made sense and that you enjoyed that time.
It did to me. So,
Wonderful.
all right. Well, good
Ha-
job.
All
I'll
right,
see
take
you
care.
around. Actually, I won't see you around because I don't think I'm gonna be at because I have a wedding to go to. So I'll be